Place your hands on your laps. Breathe in and breathe out. Release all the stress. Release all the stress. Now say after me, this is an amazing night. And I'm glad that I came. This is an amazing night. I'm glad that I came. I declare that my vocal cord is the instrument that produces the audible vibrational frequency of my soul. The parastatals of my human institution are functioning by divine order and grace. Therefore, every arm of my human institution cooperates with the capital territory. There is no permission for unconstitutional activities in the territories of my spirit, of my soul, of my body. Every opposition, every protest, are hereby disarmed and dismissed. My chi is active, ready to work with me. My guardian angels are ready to move faster than the speed of light into time, into space, into events, into situations, to arrange and to rearrange things in my favor. Therefore, I speak these words of grace and glory and power into this quantum field, and they are attracting their twin flames and their frequencies, and they become my manifested realities. My spirit is alive. My mind is active. My body is agile. The trinity of my existence are operating on systems engineered for growth and advancement. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am happy. I am healthy. I am safe. I am free. I trust my wisdom. I listen to my intuition. It steers me in the right way. I believe in myself. My body is healthy. My body is thriving. I am strong. I am strong. I am capable of great things. I am loved and supported.
Okay. We're live now.
I am loved and supported.
Day 2.
I am exactly where I need to be.
Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising.
I'm not used to it. Some people are still sleeping.
What is wrong with my audio? Grand rising. Is it working now? Yeah.
I was hearing it in somebody else's phone.
Okay. The audio is perfect now. This is day 2, virtual session, International Conscious Conference. We can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow, the physical sessions begin at Novare Central, Wuse 2, and doors open at 10 a.m. We're looking forward to an amazing weekend. It's going to be splendid. It's going to be splendid. Yesterday, I'm sure you had a great time at that morning session where we had the affirmation and declaration of the Lionsgate portal. And then we had another session of the Igbo cosmology. If you missed the Igbo cosmology session yesterday with Chief Eze Nzibidi, kindly go to YouTube. It's already on the YouTube. It's already on Femi Jubal YouTube channel. So you can go watch it. And we're going to have more of Chief after the conference. We need to advance these conversations. You know, yesterday we had about 400 people, and total number of visits to the session would be up to like maybe 4,000 or even more than that. So today we begin this morning with 369 manifestation, and then after that we will, in the afternoon, we're going to have an afternoon session which is going to be a numerology, because this is what started the whole thing, So we're going to have an interactive session in the afternoon, also virtual, where we're going to have members of the Manifest Growth community come together to discuss so far on numbers, power cycle, their experiences, testimonies. So if you're a member of the Manifest Growth community and you would like to come on in the afternoon, the time for afternoon session is, I think it starts at 3 o'clock. Yes, 3 p.m. and it's going to run till like 6 p.m. thereabouts. So we want to have a great time, people, talking about their experience so far, the impact of of the Femi Jubal and the Shewa Ambassador brand, and the advancement of consciousness in the Nigerian and African community, and the impact on you so far. We're going to have that. So if you'd like to join that session in the afternoon from 3 p.m., ensure that you are part of it. And then in the evening, also virtual, we're going to have Shewa Ambassador take us on a session from 8 to 9:30. Yes. 8 to 9:30. Economic power for social growth. You don't want to miss that session. Economic power for social growth. Economic power is going to dissect the concept of how you can empower yourself economically. Then you begin to add value to society, because without economic power you cannot add any substantial value to society. And society would advance and grow when we have individuals, active citizens, who are contributing their unique quota to the advancement and development of society. So we're going to have that in the evening. And then tomorrow, 10 a.m., doors open. Let us all storm that venue. Novare Central, Wuse Zone 5, ShopRite, 10 a.m., doors open. We're going to have Femi Johnson take us on yoga and the art of meditation. A lot of people don't know how to meditate. Tomorrow can solve that challenge for you. We're going to have a quantum energy healing session. We're going to have energy, health, and therapy session. There are many people right now. The reason why we are finding it very difficult to manifest is simply because of trauma. The things that you've gone through as a child, the dysfunctional environment that you grew up in, and that has become more or less like systems and programming languages in you that is hindering you from manifesting. And sometimes all you have to do is to just master it through energy, integrate it, how to deal with your shadow. We have experts, people who are well trained in this field, and they are coming to speak to us on that. And then we're going to have a session on emotional healing. There will be a session on emotional healing. Emotional healing. A lot of relationship right now. Coach Femi, Grand Rising. The reason why it is not working, it is not because both of you are not compatible or something is wrong with the relationship. It's because you carried into that relationship emotional trauma, emotional injury, and then the effect of that is now, reflecting in your relationship. So we're going to have Fadila Majidadi is going to speak on emotional healing. We have Faith Iyaen tomorrow, who is going to speak on 21st century leadership mindset. 21st century leadership mindset. That session is going to be physical and virtual. We are transmitting live. So some of the sessions are free. Most of the sessions are for premium subscribers to the event. And then we're going to have Hausa Cosmology by Adiza. Adiza is coming to speak on, the same thing we had for the Igbo cosmology yesterday. Adiza is going to speak on Hausa Cosmology. And then we have the Yoruba Cosmology session. Tomorrow is packed and loaded. And then we're going to have Ambassador again tomorrow. And then tomorrow I am going to speak on family numerology. And it is a premium session for premium subscribers. We're going to speak on family. Why you need to introduce numerology into your family. If you introduce numerology into your family, you have not just solved your individual problem, you have also solved the challenges. You have cut down your family challenges by 60 to 70%, because now everybody will know who they are and they know who the other person is and how you can integrate your different individuality into the family ecosystem. So these are what we have for you tomorrow. And then Sunday we continue with the free and premium virtual and physical sessions at the same venue, Novara Central, Use Zone 5, ShopRite, Abuja. This morning, I want us to look at something very important. This is very important, guys. Because in your journey of manifestation, if you don't know this, you will be beating around the bush. You will just be beating around the bush if you don't know what we're about to talk about. And I've spoken about it a couple of times, but we're going to touch on it again today and ensure that we do justice to it. We're going to ensure we do justice to it. Your day of birth in numerology reveals to you who you are at the potential level. Talk about that. Your day of birth is the revelation of your identity. Your day of birth is the revelation of your identity. It is a revelation, it is the answer to the question, who am I? And this is why your day of birth is connected to your personality number. One of the things you are going to notice is people who have similar day of birth and personality numbers, they usually find it a bit easier than others to navigate through life when it comes to their identity. Some people, it seems as though they came here and they just know who they are and they just start working in it. Some of us had to, go through different process of character development and stages to be able to now integrate our day of birth and our personality number. What I'm teaching you this morning is actually very premium. It's very premium. Because one of the ways to express your personality and your identity is to be able to manipulate and integrate the two numbers, whatever your day of birth number is and whatever your personality is. If they are the same, it's easier for you. If they are not, you know what some people do? You add both of them together. You add the day of birth and the personality number together. So you marry them, right? energy manipulation. You marry those two numbers together, whatever you get as a single digit, that's what you are going to focus on. And you are going to be intentional about vibrating that number such that it becomes a part of you. Because see, your day of birth reveals your inner child, who you were before they told you who you are not. Before they imposed on you what you are not. That's your childlike aspect. That is your divine inner child. Carl Jung talked about in the personality archetypes. Your inner child. You came here, I've heard a lot of people tell stories of their upbringing when they came, the kind of dreams they used to have, the way they used to behave. I've heard women tell me that when they were young, they used to tell their father, they woke up as a child and told their father, don't dress like that, wear this. And the father went for a business meeting and they said, we like what you are wearing, and they gave him the job as a child. But see, gifts like this don't come with conventional attributes. So it will come with some other weird, strange things. And for a lot of people, those things were actually suppressed as children because the people around you didn't understand anything about it. So incompetent parenting and eldership, ignorant parenting and eldership has robbed many of us of the gifts that we came here with. When you ignore your inner child, you overlook your formative experiences. The formative experiences that may have influenced your present behavior. Because your present behavior is a product of your formative experiences. Some people in their first 9 years microcycle, your first 9 years microcycle is your age 0 to 9. See that? Is your age 0 to 9. This is your formative year. This is your formative year. This ink is opo. That's your formative year. And what many people are still struggling with right now are the experiences of their age 0 to 9. The people who raised them, how they raised them, the patterns of their childhood. That is what they are still battling with now. And they are struggling and thinking, what is happening to me? And it seems as though there is a dark part of you that you don't understand. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is the formative years. Now, it is formative years because something was formatted in you. A lot of children, most children actually, they believe they could fly as a child. Put a child on a 21st story building, he wants to fly. Your inner child is the office of limitless possibilities. There was no such thing as can't in your divine inner child. You were told about the things you can't do, and then you believed them through indoctrination. There were giftings that you came here with. There were talents that you still have them in you until it was formatted in your age 0 to 9. And coupled with that, you know what happened to a lot of people? It wasn't just formatted. Something different was installed. Right? All the dysfunctionalities, the abuse. The people who were meant to protect you were the ones that violated you. So that changed the programming that you came here with. When you ignore your inner child, you overlook your formative experiences. And these formative experiences are the events that influence your present behavior. And not just that, your coping mechanism. So a lot of people are just trying to cope. They're either trying to cope with music, they're trying to cope with drugs, trying to cope with promiscuity, but because they have refused to go back to that inner child. You know, a lot of people are taking ayahuasca now, mushroom and all that. Ayahuasca. To go back to their own personal Akashic record, to their own memory bank, to know, because listen guys, see, for you to heal a wound, the process of healing is painful. And a lot of people would rather stick to their wound being covered than being healed, than begin the process of healing, because that process, you're going to have to wash the face of the wound. You have to bleed again. You have fresh bleeding. But the fresh bleeding, if it is the journey of healing, is a pain. There is power in that pain. It is not a pain of pity parting. It is not a pain of low self-esteem. It is a pain that leads to power, because your healing is in that power, and the power is in the pain. So the childlike aspect within you that encompasses what you learned during your childhood before puberty, that is your divine inner child. What were the dreams? When I was a child, the only dreams I used to have, my dominant dream was I would see myself at the airport. We enter the plane and they take me to a place and I'm speaking to people. And I forgot those dreams until I was like 22 years old. Until 2020 or thereabouts. I forgot. I kept living my life. I forgot. There are many people through this International Conscious Conference. What is going to happen to you is your inner child dreams, the dreams of your childhood that you either have forgotten, but it's still there. You have not lost it, you forgot it. Those latent, those passive childhood dreams are going to come alive. International Conscious Conference is going to activate, reactivate, and ignite that process of going back into your inner child, and then you will start dreaming again. You will start, and what's going to happen to you is you are going to transmit that energy. For some of you, you have to now look for children to raise, to impact that dream in them. Children who have the same thing as you, because, see, we all have tribes. We all have tribes. And to now start raising them. Nurturing and healing the inner child can lead to emotional regulation and profound healing. You have to nurture and heal the inner child. A lot of us, because of what we went, many people went through a lot of isolation when they were young. Nobody cared about them. So a lot of people are living this lonely life of, I'm alone. You are an individual. Let's get that right first. But the truth of the matter is, when you easily isolate yourself, just because you are dealing with things, that can be traced to the patterns of your childhood. Your inner child is your divine self. Your day of birth reveals your divine inner child to you. You said my sound?
Yes, sound.
They sound. Okay, maybe it's the network from you.
Yes, sound. Continue.
Yes. There is sound. No, people are not complaining. There is sound. Your inner child is connected to your divine center and your relationship with God. You are a divine being. That's what you are. I've told you, you are the living temple of God. You are the house of God. The concept of the 5 points. We've said that repeatedly. You are the house of God. You came here with a divine center. You're not born with sin. You were not born with sin. You may have been born in sin, but you were not born with sin. Right? You may have been born in an environment of chaos, but you didn't come here with chaos. You came here with a divine center that is connected to God. Your superconscious consciousness is connected to God. That's your divine child. So the key to living your most authentic life is to connect back to your inner child. To connect back to your divine center. To who you were before you were violated. To who you were before you were betrayed. To who you were before you were abused, either physically, emotionally. Now, I've talked about shadow self many times. Let's look at the effect of denying your shadow, because we have been raised and trained to deny our shadows, to sweep things under the carpet, to repress it. And now, I was telling Ambassador yesterday how I went for an event, and a man said that since he gave his life to whatever he gave his life to, no negative thought has crossed his mind. That's a man that is denying his shadow. He's living in denial. He's not just delusional, he's also in denial. The effect of denying your shadow is the misappropriation of the ego energy, over bloated ego, anxiety, self-absorption, self-sabotage. Oh, one of the things that is common with people these days, Ambassador, is many people actually think they are humble and they are sacrificial, but it is self-sabotage.
Exactly.
They don't even know it is self-sabotage. Depriving yourself of the rights and privileges and opportunities due you and letting other people have it to you because you are sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, let them go first before me. And yes, that's the way I am. This is what I came to this life to do, just to slave for people. It is denying a lot of people of their glory and manifestation. Self-sabotage. You see women who, oh, she really wants to marry. She wants to marry, but then there are some behavioral patterns in her that conflict with her desire for marriage. So she is sabotaging, especially in the area of economy. It is very, very common. How much do you want for this service? Anything you have, give me. I don't like money. When I hear those statements, that's why there is one of your activists in Nigeria. I don't trust him. I don't want to mention his name. Anybody that tells me they don't care about money, they are a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you say you don't care about money, I start suspecting you.
Facts.
Because you are sabotaging yourself, but it is also seductive. You are trying to win people over because there is nobody that does not like money.
Mm-hmm.
And self-sabotage is very, very common, especially in personal economy. And when people sabotage themselves to a point where they no longer have any enthusiasm to grow their personal economy, then they start blaming the government. Then they start disliking and hating rich people. The moment they see a person in a nice car, is a thief. Every rich man is a thief. It is self-sabotage. You have inflicted the injury of self-sabotage on yourself so much that you have lost your own capacity and inability to advance your personal economy. It's self-sabotage. It's very, very common. This is like one of the major...
You can't have what you hate.
You can't have what you hate. This is one of the major hindrances to people's manifestation. Self-sabotage. That's it. They are indifferent about money. They are indifferent about money. Because, and you know why people are like this? They have lost faith in their ability and capacity to build a personal economy. That's the reason why it's like that. They no longer have, they've tried like maybe several times, they failed. So now they've just, then they want to project. One of the things you do, one of the ways to spot your shadow is what are the things you are projecting on people. They just like money too much. All they want is money because you have given up on your capacity to grow your personal economy. So the moment somebody is saying, this is my fee for this service, is it about money every time? The moment you hear, is it about money? Yes, it is about money. Self-sabotage. See, if you can intentionally break away from self-sabotage in the area of your economy, you will see growth in your economy. Because listen, if you don't place a price tag on your skill, you don't intentionally place a price tag on your... there was a time I would spend hours with people on social media without any price tag. And the same people will go to people who are offering less value and pay them. And when they need something free, they come to me. And a lot of people think, oh, you want to say something? They think it doesn't matter.
People will never take initiative to price your value appropriately. They will know that you are valuable, but they will never take the initiative to price you appropriately.
Exactly. See, be intentional about examining your life. An unexamined life is not worth living. So one of the things that we must do this weekend is self-examination. What are those areas in my life that I am inflicting myself with self-sabotage and branding it as a virtue? I am very humble.
Modesty.
I'm very modest. I don't like money. You know me, it's not about money. For me, it's not about money. Come on. That's itself poor relational skills. One of
Most
the
most
effects,
people in church say that
Exactly.
a lot.
one
That's why
of
they don't have money.
one of the effects of denying your shadow is poor relational skills. You don't know how to relate with people. Because when you were young, nobody related with you effectively. It was almost like you were on your own. Offensive behavior. You are just offensive. It is not that you are a bad person, but the moment you meet people, it's just offensive. You just push people away from you. Not approachable, but you are such an amazing person. But your shadow has become your real self. Anxiety and depression. One of the things that happens to you when you are raised in a dysfunctional environment, or you go through experiences in your teen years that are not pleasant, is that it affects your soul. And your soul is the headquarter of your human institution. Your soul, the quality of your soul determines the quality of your life. Ambassador always said that depression is a disease of the soul, not of the mind. Anxiety and depression. Because you will not be able to express yourself effectively. And when you are not expressing yourself effectively, it's going to be depression. The opposite of expression is depression. Fake life, self-deceit, deceiving others, because you must first be able to deceive yourself before you can deceive others. One of the effects of denying your shadow, that darkness in you have refused to comprehend. Because they have told you that now that you have accepted a belief system, you no longer have any darkness in you. No, there is darkness and there is light in you. It is your ability to integrate, to explore and integrate that darkness.
You're not a new creation.
That determines the results that you command in your life. The integration of God says, I am light, but I dwell in darkness. So you are meant to know how to master and integrate the concept of darkness. Poor self-esteem. Oh, poor self-esteem is very common. Misplaced estimation of yourself. Overestimation of yourself. You don't even know who you are. You think you are here, but you are here. And listen, the reason it is hard for a lot of people when they fail and fall to rise up is because they still have this overestimation of themselves. You are no longer there. You are here. Why don't you pick up the pieces so you can keep rising? No. They still have misplacement of their shadow self, of their, who they are. Shadow projection. Now, one of the things, when you reject your shadow, when you repress or suppress your shadow, you know what happens to you? You start projecting your fears on other people. Parents do it. Parents do it a lot. Because they failed in certain areas, then they project their fears onto you. Couples do it to themselves. See, when you see things in other people that you subconsciously recognize within yourself, when you project, you are seeing things in other people that you subconsciously recognize in yourself. So the hastiness to attack and judge is proof that what you are judging, a bit of that or a lot of that, is in you. The parts in people that make you uncomfortable, that you seek to judge and punish them, is because you also have some of those things in you. So the inability to cut people any slack, no patience, no, they must be punished for what they did. They must be punished for what they did. The inability to step back a bit and say, let me still look at this person. Maybe this, I'm not saying, we should condone mediocrity. But what I'm saying is your inability to cut people some slack is proof that what you judge them of, there's a bit of that in you. Now, let's look at something very important. I've talked about this before. Let me expatiate it. Shadow work. This period, we are in the season of manifestation, so that nothing will stand in your way that will hinder your manifestation. Shadow work is a practice that helps you discover and integrate the parts of yourself that you hide or repress. Those parts that you have hidden. You are hiding it from the world. You are hiding it even from yourself. You are denying that these things are there. So shadow work is the art of exploring and integrating those unconscious aspects. the fears, the shame, the repressed strength. He who comprehend the darkness in them, to them the light is near. If you comprehend the darkness in you, to you the light is near. And this must become, you must begin that journey now. You must begin that journey now. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control and rule your life. And you will call it fate. If you refuse to explore and integrate the unconscious, it will rule your life. Your fears, your shame, your repressed strength. If you refuse to integrate, explore them, bring them close to you. Because they are like embryos. They are thoughts. They are shadow, of course. Repressing, denying, running away from them would only magnify them. It is someone told me something years ago. When he told me, sorry, I looked at him like, this is unbelievable. He said he started cheating on and abusing his wife. And whenever he did that, he went to the bathroom and he cried. That the first time he did it, cheated on his wife, something happened, slapped his wife. I'm not talking about he just pushed to beating. He went to the bathroom and he was crying like a baby. He never knew that there was something in him that could make him do that to his wife. He's listening because it is one of the things that reveal who you are to you is marriage. Forget about all of us single people. You don't know who you are until you marry. You don't know who you are until you marry. You don't know who you are until there's somebody with you every day that sometimes they annoy you, other times they make you happy, and then you have to deal with that. See, especially single people watching this right now, if you don't deal with your shadow as a single person, just wait for chaos when you get married. So this is the best time to heal, because if you don't, you either carry yourself to someone else who is also as dysfunctional, or you carry your sick self to a healed person, and then you destroy their life.
You mess them up.
You mess them up. That's what happens. Because I look at couples many times and I figure that nothing is really wrong with these people's marriage. All the resources they need to power their marriage, they have it. So what is wrong? Because you have two people who have refused to confront their shadow. They think that because they can do Shakra Baba, then nothing is wrong with them again. They think wholeness and emotional healing is I am this, I am that, I have this, and then after that they still go home no peace. They start beating themselves up. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule you and you will call it fate. When you begin to take the steps to integrating and exploring your shadow, you begin to heal your inner child. You begin to grow. You become whole. It improves your mental health, your relational skills. It heals generational trauma. Because there are many families right now that what they are dealing with, when they say generational cause, it is generational trauma. People are dealing with trauma passed on from one generation to another, passed on from grandpa to grandma. I always tell men, even in my family, if you don't live an examined life, you will become everything you hate in your father or your mother. It's as simple because it's the DNA, it's in you. So if you don't live, I sit myself down and ask myself, what are the things in my father I don't like? Because there is 80% probability you will become those things. You think you won't because you are still single. Don't worry, marry. Marry and you will know that those things that you condemn in your own father, in your own mother, in your siblings, they are in you. But when you decide to take on the journey of shadow work, you begin to heal those generational trauma. And that's what is called breaking of the yoke. Because it takes one choice, just one good choice. One good choice will cancel out several generational choices that are not healthy. Just one choice. You making a healthy choice today will cancel all those poor choices that your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather made. Confidence and self-esteem. Compassion. Listen, you begin to have compassion for people. You begin to cut people some slack. Patience. You get angry, but later you step back a bit. There's a reason why this. You don't make excuses for people. You have compassion. They are two different things.
Right.
Making excuses is you are emboldening mediocrity. But when you have compassion, you are trying to understand their frame of mind. Why are they behaving this way? Is this connected to something? Because when you heal yourself, when you heal yourself, then you can heal the world. What we have these days are people who haven't healed themselves. They want to heal the world. They want to change the world, but they cannot make their own bed. Yes. They want to lead, right? But they cannot even organize their own room. They can't arrange their room, but they want to lead the world.
Can't lead themselves.
They can't lead themselves. Shadow work is inner work. So what inner work are you currently engaging in? What inner work are you currently engaging in? Are you intentional about tapping into the depth and reservoir of your soul? Because see, nothing is lost. All the glory, all the uniqueness and characteristics, the gifts that you came here with, they are still there. They are in hibernation mode, but they are there. Shadow work begins to help you explore and tap into the depth and reservoir of your soul, because you were not born an empty slate. You were only formatted and mediocre ideas installed into your pyramid of consciousness. You were not born an empty slate. You came here with information and data and resources that you need to live the quality of life that you came here to lead. You were born with data and information that are unique to this incarnate existence. Shadow work helps you to wake up. A lot of us, we just need to wake up. A lot of us need to go for some therapy. And that's why tomorrow at the International Conscious Conference, we're going to have sessions on emotional healing, energy therapy session, that will help you to spot your inner shadow. You see, one of the ways to do this, you spot the habits that you may have. Habits that can be good, but they are also bad. There are good habits, but they are also bad. There's nothing bad for you. Yeah, bad for you. There's nothing wrong with watching comedy skits, but it may be bad for you. Habits that are good, but they may be bad. The patterns that you tend to replicate repeatedly in your life. There are some patterns in your life that you see, why am I always dating cheats and men who beat me? It simply means that it is not about the men, it's about you. Reminds me of the Greek myth of a particular character in a Greek mythology. This character was female, hitting her head on the rock, bleeding, and asking the rock, "What is wrong with you, rock?" But hitting this, the darkness that you refuse to integrate and comprehend. This is the perfect explanation for it. Many people right now, you are the one repeating unhealthy patterns in your own life. The patterns that you are replicating repeatedly is holding you back. You are hitting your head on the rock. You are the one who's always dating cheats, thieves, irresponsible men. So now all men are scum. So there is nothing wrong with men. Something is wrong with your capacity to choose right. And that is directly linked to your shadow. Your inability to integrate your shadow. That's what is linked to it. This Greek mythology character kept hitting her head on the wall, bleeding and blaming the rock. What is wrong with you, rock? Why are you making me bleed? Until it dawned on this character. And it took a 180-degree turnaround. And I said, no, I can't be hitting my head on the rock, bleeding and blaming the rock. I am the one hitting my head on the rock. And she said to herself, what is wrong with me? See, shadow work helps you to turn around and ask yourself, no, nothing is wrong with men. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with Nigeria. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with my friends. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with marriage. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with the economy. The economy will never be perfect forever and ever. But your personal economy can improve But you must turn around and ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Spot your inner shadow. You must pay attention to your triggers. What are the things that the moment someone says, you become defensive? You know, for people who were raised in very dysfunctional environment, some of the people I find very hard to relate with are people who, they are almost like they are eggs. And I have people like that in my family too. They don't want you to say anything about whatever they are doing. Whether they are going down, whether they are not doing things right, don't say anything. The only way to be in peace with them is not to say anything about whatever they are doing.
Just praise them.
Praise them in their mediocrity. The moment you say, this thing you are doing is not right, there is defensiveness. They are defensive. Because they have refused to pay attention to the triggers, to their own triggers. They have refused to spot their shadow. It happens in relationships. This is the root of the lack of accountability. Don't hold me accountable for anything. Oh, their definition of love is, don't hold me accountable. Leave me the way I am. Because they have refused to integrate and explore their shadow. Because your triggers remind you of your trauma. It reminds you of your trauma. The moment someone says something and you react, that you have to spot, you have to start noticing and identifying those events and situations and those words that seem to trigger your trauma. And you know, listen, your triggers are messages to help you realize your shadow. They are messages to you that your shadow wants to be seen. Listen, the darkness in you wants you to recognize it. I am darkness in you. God said, I am light, but I dwell in darkness. The same, you are light, but there is darkness in you. And they have taught you that darkness is evil. But you are meant, the darkness in you wants to show itself to you. I am not bad. I just want you to integrate, explore, understand me, so you can transmute that energy. And this is why you see people sometimes in the concept of the evolution of evil. A man kidnaps one of his students. His goal was greed. He needed money. Right? Now, the evolution of evil. He kidnaps the girl. They abducted her, took her to a place, started negotiating with the family. When they were bringing the ransom, the little girl, 5 years old, this is a story that happened in Nigeria. The little 5-year-old girl saw the teacher's face. Now, you see what happens? The teacher never knew that he could unalive a person. His shadow, his darkness for years probably had been, I want to show my, identify me. I am darkness in you, but I am not evil. You are meant to identify me. I want to be seen. Your shadow wants to be seen. It's not just light, light, light. It is better for you to understand your darkness than for you to understand your light. Because things grow in darkness, right? Your power is in the dark. But this teacher refused to identify his shadow. He suppressed and repressed his darkness so that other people don't see it. And then guess what? Greed evolved to unaliving that little 5-year-old girl. And what happens after that? Now, greed evolved into fear. And fear evolved into murder. But even before the murder, it evolved into premeditated because he thought about it. He still couldn't deal with that shadow. So it means that he had the ability to unalive a person. That's part of his shadow. There are people that no matter what happens to them, even if they have, committed any form of greed, they will never get to that point because it's not part of their shadow. Right? It's not part of their shadow. But this teacher unalives this girl. Your shadow are the triggers. They are the messages that wants to be seen. Interpret me. Have a relationship with me. I want to be seen. I am part of you. You can't run away from your shadow. Ambassador is standing here. His shadow is at the back. Whenever he moves, his shadow moves with him. Your darkness moves with you. And there is nothing evil about it. You are meant to relate with it. You are meant to have a relationship with it. You are meant to integrate it into your ecosystem. Your light is your darkness. Thank you. Your light is your darkness. Now, there is something called the mirror technique. One of the ways to do shadow work is to practice the mirror technique, where you stand in front of the mirror, right, and you begin to ask yourself questions. And the person you are seeing in the mirror is also an image of you, is a representation of you, is an avatar of you. And you begin to answer those questions that you are asking yourself. Now, let me tell you something. From counseling people, I figured that shame is actually a stronghold for a lot of people. Do you know that there are people who are ashamed of themselves even when they are alone? They are ashamed. They are looking in the mirror and there is this feeling of shame. Alone. You know, for most people, shame is something that is public. But there's another traumatic dimension of shame. That this is why exactly, I tell people about the mirror exercise. I tell them about the bathroom exercise. Be by yourself in front of the mirror. Be by yourself in the bathroom before you start pouring water on yourself. Be like that, the way you are. Naked. And start questioning your own self-worth. How much of myself that I am fascinated by? Do I recognize my own value? Because see, you must first have confidence in the way you look. There are many people who don't have confidence in the way they look. Yes, there are many people that when you try to treat them right, they react to it because they are not used to it. Let me tell you the truth, a lot of people in relationships, the reason the relationship didn't work was because they were being taken care of in a way that they have never experienced. This person is too good to me. Haven't you heard people in the divorce court who said, a lady that said that her husband is too kind to her? Because she did not grow up around people who were kind to her. Right? When they tell you, no, come and sit on this special seat. No. See, all those little denial and rejection of preferential treatment is indicative of the fact that you don't think of yourself as worthy of anything excellent in life. If I go to a place and they tell me, this is a special seat, I'm sitting there like a king. I remember we went to visit an emir in the northern part of Nigeria. We actually went to 7 different states and we met emirs there. And when we wanted to see the emir, they went into this big room and chairs. And everybody went in and they sat down on the floor. And I'm a Yoruba boy from Lagos. So I was the first person to go in. I just went straight to the chair. I just sat down because it was a big chair. And every other person just sat on the floor and I was just on the chair. In my mind, I was like, what should I do now? Should I sit on the floor? And I wanted to sit on the floor. And the emir said, no, sit there. And everybody there were literally shocked. They said, sit there. That normally I was meant to sit on the floor. But because I don't see myself as a person that I'm not saying that you should go around there and be abusing people's culture. I'm just saying I was the first to enter. And I don't think that if I see chairs in the room, I should go and sit on the floor.
Exactly.
And the emir said, sit. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Lagos and Ogun State. He said, oh, Yoruba? I said, yes. Good. Do you know that throughout that session, he focused on me? I was the one he was asking questions.
Royalty recognized.
I was the one he was. So tell me about yourself. Oh, okay, good. I have a lot of Arab friends. Oh, yeah.
There's a royal character.
That's a royal, but there are people that even when the emir said, sit, I cannot sit. To prove, see, there is a lot of fake, false humility in society these days. Fake, false humility disguised as virtue. Disguised as humility. Fake, false humility. It is not humility. It is self-sabotage. It is your inability to recognize the capacity and the strength in yourself. And one of the things you are going to do is you are going to project that on other people. See, and you will project it on your children, whether you like it or not. Because there are many parents right now. I counsel people and I can tell you a lot of parents, what they did was they destroyed their children. Because they couldn't deal with their own shadow and then they projected that shadow on their children. We have seen mothers who look at their daughters and say, "You are so ugly. When I was your age, I was more beautiful than you." Haven't you heard that statement? A mother telling her daughter that you are too ugly. When I was your age, I was more beautiful than you. That is a mother who has lost it because she refused to explore and integrate her own shadow. The mirror exercise. There is an art called inner dialogue. Do you have conversations with yourself? You know, there are people, they have not had conversations with themselves for 1 year, for 6 months, for 1 month, for 3 months. You don't talk to yourself. You can learn from your shadow by having inner conversation. When you start having conversation with yourself, you are having conversations with your shadow. When you're alone, what do you discuss with yourself? What are the dialogue that you have with yourself? Meditation. Are you courageous enough to question your own thoughts? Because there's a process of thinking. There's a process of thinking about your thoughts. Can you question your own thoughts? Can you keep an open mind that even if it is weird, you start questioning the last things you thought about? And do you take note of the answers without judgment? See, the process of shadow work is not to judge yourself. It is to know yourself better. I've noticed some things. See, when I see great people, I know them. I have seen, I remember Ambassador. He was saying something, and next time he said something, I was like, this thing, I just stopped it. And I was like, see, great people, a great person doesn't have to be corrected all the time. I hope you know that. Because they practice the art of shadow work. Many times, a lot of people will tell me, I wanted to tell you that thing, but I know that you will correct yourself. Most times you will correct yourself before they correct you. Because there is a process of inner dialogue. You dialogue with Arsenal, you dialogue with BB Niger, you dialogue with politics, you dialogue with people on social media. But do you dialogue with Instablog Niger? Do you dialogue with yourself? Do you dialogue with yourself? When you begin shadow work, one of the things that's going to happen to you is a lot of things are going to open up to you. So the goal is not for you to be ashamed. Have you asked yourself, why did I treat that lady like that? Have you looked at your ex and you said, and you were able to be so courageous that you told yourself, no, that's not the way a real man should behave. Have you asked yourself, you sat and said, why would I treat a man that sacrificed so much for me? And just because I didn't feel like a Hollywood romantic movie, I despised him. Have you sat down? Many of the events of your past, you are meant to sit down and take responsibilities for the actions that you took. Your last marriage, have you sat down to explore, to ask yourself about the things that you did that led to the failure of that marriage? The last business that failed, have you sat down to have inner dialogue with yourself? I do it a lot. I dialogue with myself, and it has helped me many times to salvage what is left. One of the ways to see, a lot of people have said there is no stagnation, right? You are either moving forward or retrogressing backward. The moment I notice that I'm about to start, I start the process of inner dialogue. What are the things I've been doing? Oh no, this is not right, I must stop it. No, this isn't. So before you come to tell me, I've told myself. So when you tell me, it's more or less like, wow, okay. Confirmation. I know this. This is how to actually dissect your own life. But it requires a lot of courage. Listen, these are the questions. Some of the questions you're going to start asking yourself. Number one, how do you believe people see you? How do you think people see you? How do you think people would describe you to someone else? And how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
Most of the time, uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Now, if people's conversation about you and their impression of you always make you feel uncomfortable. You need to deal with it. Because sometimes, many times, you don't need to give a damn
Right.
what they think about you. Listen, for years, in my teenage years, into even my 30s, I was always trying to, why does this person not like me? And I begin a process of trying to let them know that you have no reason not to like me. I'm a good person. That energy draining attitude. You go to a place, you didn't do anything to them. You just have agents of hatred for you.
They don't like your audacity.
They don't like your audacity.
The lights.
You didn't do anything. And I have had several experiences like that. You remember in churches those days, they even said I was using jazz. Because, see, especially those of you who are star seed, the moment you enter a place, things start changing. The moment you enter, things start changing. Not because you are just the light, but because you also understand your darkness. And then people who you did not offend. I remember when we went to my aunt's graduation of our daughter, and there's one of our friends that doesn't like me, and I didn't do anything to her. And there was a time that I was trying to. This is me that if I enter anywhere, even children who don't know me will come to me and start. That's proof of great energy. She just doesn't like me. And twice I tried to figure out why. And later on I told myself.
The puzzle.
Because you have to remove this white thing first. Let's fix the apostle for them first. Yeah, people. Yeah.
Fixed.
Fixed. And the last time I saw her, and she came without her face again, and I simply looked at her like you. Many of us, you know what we are doing? We are trying to explain to people that you are a good person. If you are a good person, you are a good person. Nobody needs any. You don't have to stress yourself. I moved from that place of trying to prove to people that I am not a bad person. When you come close, I was telling you a story yesterday about my friends. Yeah. You go explain. So let me tell you how I live my life now. The moment I come to a place, I didn't do anything to you. I just noticed that you don't like me. Then I show you that I don't like you too.
Exactly.
Are you ready to embark on this journey of war with me? Because I don't like you too. And you must also know I don't like you too. And I don't care what your impression is of me. Because the moment you start trying to figure out why they don't like you, it is draining. When you're meant to be living your authentic life, you're trying to prove to a low life, a non-entity and charlatan.
Energy
I
vampires.
didn't do anything. Energy vampires. I don't like you too. Period. There are people in my estate who are my neighbors who I didn't do anything to you. And then I greet you the first time, you look a certain way. I am not the one that said you should be the way you are.
Exactly.
There are people right now, just because you look a certain way and they don't like how they look, they just start hating on you.
Projecting.
Yes, they start projecting. I am not the one that said you should look the way you look. So if you don't like me, I don't like you too. It's as simple as that. What are the worst traits someone can have according to you? What are the worst traits that someone can have? When did you demonstrate these traits? Ask yourself. It takes courage to ask yourself these questions. This is how to be the bigger person in life. What are the worst traits someone can have according to you? And when did you demonstrate these traits? And number 3, what tends to make you judgmental towards others? What is that thing that makes you judgmental towards other people? We have a lot of that in Abuja. You see all these boys from the north. They don't drink alcohol. But the kind of drugs they take, the pills, anything, they can use anything to get high, but they don't. Alcohol is haram. Right?
But they will judge anyone who's taking alcohol.
The moment they see alcohol, haram. But as soon as he's leaving that place, he's taking pills and even sneaking cocaine and doing all manner of things. These are charlatans.
Because they didn't mention that in the Quran.
Exactly, these are charlatans. And this is the way a lot of us are. Right? I have seen ladies who you are dating a guy you are not married to. Because according to your Bible, you shouldn't sleep with a guy you are not married to. But he is with his friends who drink beer. You are criticizing their beer. But after that beer drinking, this guy is taking you home to go and knock you. This is how a lot of us are.
Messed up
You
psychology.
you tend to make judgments towards other people. So it takes your attention away from exploring your own shadow. You are no longer focused on yourself, it's about what other people are doing. You see northern part of Nigeria, they break trucks, they destroy trucks of beer. But you see a lot of people violating young children. You see them, men can cheat on their wives, right? But alcohol is bad. That one is the haram. But their misbehavior is not bad. These are societies that they project their hypocrisy and fears on you. And you cannot replicate that kind of social energy in your own life. What memories are you ashamed of? Have you asked yourself, what are the things that you have done in your life that you're ashamed of? Like I said, see, this journey is not for you to start breaking yourself into pieces. It's for you to know yourself better. What memories are you ashamed of? What are the things you've done in the past that you're ashamed of? Ask yourself and answer yourself. Make sure you answer yourself. What do you envy? Who do you envy? And why do you envy them? Who do you envy and why do you envy them? Who do you envy and why do you envy them? And a lot of us here right now, you know, the first major wounds that you experience in your life, it was done by your parents.
First bullies.
The first bullies in your life were your parents. And if there is a wound that people struggle to heal from, it is parental wound. Because most times it is not talked about, especially in the Nigerian society. It is your father is your father. Your brother is your brother. Even if they are dysfunctional and abusive, they are still... But listen to me, a toxic person is a toxic person. It doesn't matter whether it's your father or your mother or your brother or your sister.
Or your enemy.
Or your enemy. Envy is envy, regardless where it is coming, whether it's from a stranger or from... Envy is envy. Hatred is hatred. For many people, what you are meant to do is write a letter to the person who hurts you the most in your life. I'm not saying you should send the letter to them. Write how you feel about the pain, the hurt and the injury that they've meted on you. Write it down as a letter. If you study the atmosphere and situation and you can express it to them, do it. Tell them everything you would like to say.
I did that.
Tell them everything you would like to say. You are my father, I respect you, but this... See, many people, right? There is a lady whose father violated her. She has 4 children now, all by CS. Every time suffering from fibroid. Listen, if you understand, if you know how much damage childhood trauma can cause, you will develop the courage, you will muster the courage to deal with it. Her father violated her, and she has not told anybody, not even her husband. And she has had 4 children through the process of CS. She has done 3 different fibroid surgery. In that case, for a lot of people, if the father is still alive, you are meant to go and confront him. Any tradition, listen, spirituality is different from tradition. Any tradition that teaches you to condone your abuser is unhealthy. Is oppressive and unhealthy.
Yes.
There are some abusive people in your life, you are meant to confront them, whether they are your father. What you did to me 20 years ago, I still remember it. You hurt me. What do you have to say about it? Bring it back to them. Let them know what you see. Listen, one of the things, what we are teaching here is quite deep, but it is healing. It is magical. It will cause a magical healing in your life. There is a lady whose cousin and brother used to violate her. And she has not spoken about it for years. Many of you have swept things under the carpet. And these people are still alive. You still see them. You still sit down. Oh, we are friends, we are families, we are this. You still sit down. You have repressed and suppressed that. And that's why your life is the way it is. Because you are running away from addressing that shadow. Write a letter to the person. Arrange a meeting with them. There is a true life story that happened in the US, and TD Jakes used it he made a movie out of it, where a lady was abused by her mother's boyfriend. And she told her mother now, but her mother took the side of her boyfriend. The end of the story, the lady went to church. They told her she would be coming to church and give her life to Jesus. This is a true life story. And she gave her life to Jesus. But at the end of the day, he was still in the same church that she took a gun. During the service, he unalived the man. So it means that Jesus didn't do a great justice to her. Because these are things that, listen, you must go deep down to the place of your injury and begin the process. Self-healing is the most effective form of healing. Yes. Self-healing. You must heal yourself.
Most transformative.
It's the most transformative. You must embark on the journey of self-healing. Now, what frightens you the most? What are some of the ways you could safely expose yourself to this fear? What are your fears? What are you afraid of? False evidence appearing real. What are you afraid of? Do you know your fears? Because I'm just afraid. What are you afraid? I don't know. Because you have not explored your fear. Oh, because they've told you that, no, fear is evil. The moment you believe so thing, you don't have any fear again. But you still have fear. But the law of the higher potential, spirituality tells you, explore that fear. Embrace it. It's an embryo. It's still a thought. It's still an embryo in the womb. It is not a child yet. So take it and explore that fear. And then when you explore that fear, you understand it better. Lastly, what friendships make you feel safe and secure? What friendships? Who are the people? Listen, let me tell you something. This is the second time Ambassador is coming here. Ambassador can be in my bedroom. He can be anywhere here and I will not have any thought of, I better go. But there are people, right? I won't even let them enter my sitting room. And we were friends, right? Which friendships make you feel safe and secure? And which friendships don't make you feel safe? There is no need denying. There are people that when they are around you, you are not totally free. You don't feel totally safe.
You're not in sync.
You are not in sync with them. Which friendships make you feel safe and secure? Which relationships no longer serve you? There are people that will visit me, right? And if they have to sleep over, I can even tell my brother, let's lock the kitchen. Because that's the way I feel that time about them. Like, I don't feel safe with this person. You must see, it is when you understand your shadow and you explore and integrate it that you'll be able to understand these things about yourself. And it doesn't just end with you, you begin to understand other people better. Because you have taken the courage of questioning yourself, of exploring your own darkness. And the moment you do that, you begin to comprehend other people's darkness. We're going to stop there. Now, this afternoon, we're going to come together again for another session. We are still in the virtual season. Yesterday and today is the virtual season. From tomorrow, it is a blast. Physical and virtual. Like I said, you don't want to miss it. From 3 p.m. tonight, we're going to come together and have an interactive numerology masterclass. So for a lot of you who still don't know your numbers, and you want to be part of this International Conscious Conference, we have a virtual class today on TikTok, where we're going to have all the members, some of the members of the Manifest World community, interact, discuss their journey so far, testimonies, their numbers, and also help you know your own numbers and some manifestation techniques. We're going to stop the Ambassador. I don't know if you have something to tell our friends. Then you can close the... I wanted to say the service.
Thank you so much, Mr. Femi, for all you do for us, for the people, for the culture. We are grateful. I want to admonish us to ensure that you are following and implementing these things. You you are going to you see the transformation, you see the effects, you see the manifestations in your life, right? We live in an interdependent universe, right? You journeyed from your mother's womb, from dependency, right? The job of parenting was for them to introduce you to independency for the purpose of it becoming the operational instrument for effectively navigating any interdependent ecosystem you find yourself. This world is an interdependent ecosystem. And the Femi Jubal brand, the community that Femi Jubal has created is an interdependent ecosystem. And as you can tell, he's not trying to make you dependent on him. He's trying to help you become independent, such that at any point you can decide that I don't want this relationship again, and then you will go and prosper. You will go and make things happen, in other ecosystems. If that's your decision, right? So I want to encourage you. You are going to experience, all kinds of manifestations as we go into the future, as we go into this International Conscious Conference and end it. You would look at your life and be like, wow, right? That is guaranteed, right? And for those of you who are in Abuja, make sure that you are already planning to be at Novari Central, Wuse Zone 5 tomorrow. The doors open at 10 a.m., right? And then on Sunday, doors open at 11 a.m. See, I guarantee that you are going to manifest something completely different between now and end of this year. And then, like I like to say, that this International Conscious Conference is going to be a power vortex for everyone. Every subscriber and every attendee is going to be a power vortex for you. And it will create a quantum jump. Not just this year, but for the rest of your life. You cannot unhear the things that you have heard. And you can attest to it that this is not a typical, Christian ministry where they just want to be giving you crumbs and then they want to be collecting your money and then they want to own your life. Here is an interdependent ecosystem, a functional interdependent ecosystem. This is the first of its kind. This is the first of its, International Conscious Conference from Nigeria. Most people are usually, coming up with religious stuff, right? But this is something that truly empowers you. There's no way you will follow Mr. Femi Jubal for 2 months and you not see massive transformation, let alone 6 months, let alone 1 year, right? But the International Conscious Conference is a heavy condensation of uncommon knowledge, unconventional science, a rendezvous of esotericism. There's no way you truly are not going to experience a quantum jump in your life, right? So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who joined. Thank you. We do not take you for granted. Spread the message. Tell 1 or 2 other people about the International Conscious Conference. And I know that we're going to have some people standing tomorrow at the venue, right? But most people are going to be joining online, of course, right? So please tell other people about the International Conscious Conference. We still have a lot in store for all of you and them that you're going to be telling. To this evening, I'm going to be talking about economic power for social growth. A lot of people are economically ignorant, heavy-handed economic ignorance, right? Let us help you to pivot that stage of existence, right? So thank you everybody. By 3 p.m. we're going to be back. It's going to be interactive, live testimonies. People are going to be sharing their experience so far. Some people that have only been in the community for 2 months, they will be sharing their testimonies with you. Those who have been here for 6 months and longer, they'll be even sharing some practical steps, practical tips that they have implemented in their lives. That, some people stumble upon this community at 39, at 43, and all of their lives, they've never been able to get their hands on this instrument, this real proactive instruments for life transformation, right? So we look forward to having you by 3 p.m. Later today, and then by 8 p.m. I'll be back to take you through a session on economic power for social growth. Thank you, everybody, and do enjoy the rest of your day.